Welcome, my Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising astrology friends, to your February 2026 astrology forecast. It is already February 4th, and I apologize for not getting this out earlier on a more timely basis, but these do each sign, and there's 12 of them, take between 2 and 3 hours to do each one. So it is very time consuming, especially when this is not my full-time job and I'm not yet earning any money at it. But I appreciate your patience and appreciate you being here. This is going to be a very big, very dynamic month. January was very big. February is just as big, if not bigger. Many astrologers are calling it the biggest month of the year, as well as biggest month of perhaps a lifetime. And they're not entirely wrong with that, although I'm not sure how much you're going to feel that on a personal level. So the two big things that are happening this month are we start eclipse season, so there is a solar eclipse this month, and then the other main thing is the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries, and that is the major thing happening for the collective this month. And like I said, even if you don't feel it personally, it all depends on, if you have any planets or points right near that. But even if you don't feel it personally, you certainly will be feeling it on a collective level, because it is making a big impact in the collective, and it's something that has not happened in history. Yes, Saturn and Neptune do come conjunct every 35 years, but the last time they've come conjunct in Aries, for example, was in 1703-ish. So it's not something that happens often in Aries. And as far as I can tell, as far as the software that I use goes back to like 500 BC, but I've heard other astrologers talking about the fact that this has not happened at the 0 degree point of Aries for at least 6,000 years. I don't know of an astrology software that goes back that far, but so it's either a once in ever time or once in thousands and thousands of years. So it is that big of a deal, and it's that big of a deal because astrology is patterns, so things repeat, right? Like this does happen every couple hundred years in the sign of Aries, right? So that is a repeating pattern. But what makes it so potent is that 0 degree Aries mark, because that is the beginning degree of the entire zodiac. That is the birthing point of everything. It's the world birthing point. So whatever is happening at 0 degrees Aries is starting a brand new cycle, not an echo of an old cycle, but a brand new cycle. So whatever is going on in your personal life, as well as whatever is going on in the collective, we collectively are setting the tone for thousands of years. So that is what makes this astrology that big. Now, if you are new here, thank you so much for joining me and finding me. I'm Sarah at Life with Training Wheels, where I utilize Western tropical zodiac astrology, tarot, other spiritual and health and wellness tools such as sound bowls, tuning forks, I can't figure out how to point, and things like that to help you on your path of self-discovery, self-mastery, and learning how to really take charge of your life. I'm here to help you identify and see where you may have any self-limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging behaviors, any victim mentality that you may or may not be aware of, and release those so that you can take more control over your life and live life to your best ability and to your highest and best self. So if that's something that sounds like you want to stick around for it, a vibe you can vibe with. Please comment, like, subscribe, interact with this video in some way so that I continue to show up in your feed. And if you are returning, thank you so much for returning. Now, before we jump into looking at the chart, I do recommend that you look for your rising sign first, then your sun sign, then your moon sign. So your rising sign is the sign that sets up the entire house system. So it is what determines kind of where in your life these things may show up for you. Your sun sign more determines how you may be acting through this energy, and more career focused, more outward focused. And then your moon sign is how you're feeling it more emotionally, or how things may be showing up for you more on the home front. So it is a good idea to listen to them all and kind of see how they all combine to create this big puzzle, and they all generally mesh together really well. Okay, so even though it is already February 4th, we are going to just start back at the beginning of the month, because the beginning of the month started off with a bang with the full moon in Leo. So I'll link up in the corner up there, over wherever, to the full moon video that I did for the collective. But full moons are a time of shining a light on where we may be unbalanced, on something we might be forgetting about, on giving thanks for the things that are showing up and manifesting in our life, and giving us the opportunity to see the things that might be standing in our way so that we can clear those out, so that our harvest continues to grow well. So this is calling us to balance this opposite here, right? Full moons are moon opposite the sun, but in this case it was opposite all these personal planets plus Pluto and Aquarius. So with all this energy here focused in your 8th house of intimacy, transformation, shared resources, like you've had a lot of energy focused and a lot going on in that area of your life. Perhaps you're going through a deep night of the soul, a big transformation. Perhaps there's some stuff going on with some shared resources, whether that's investments or taxes or your partner's money. Or maybe there's a lot going on in regards to intimacy, whether that's with yourself or with another. You're being called to not forget in the midst of this about your own money and your own values and your own worth, and to make sure that that you're remaining balanced in it, and that you're bringing your heart and courage and leadership and joy to the things, to your value system and to your money. Like, whatever you're doing for money, do you actually enjoy doing it? Does it bring you joy? Is your heart in it? Do you need more leadership or courage to maybe change things up and engage in those things in a way that brings you more joy? Those are the questions that the full moon was bringing for you in particular. And that was on February 1st. February 3rd, so yesterday, we had Uranus over here in Taurus stationing direct. So this is a big energetic shift. I don't know how you were feeling yesterday. I am an Aquarius rising, so Uranus does rule me, so this could make a difference in it. But with this stationing direct, I was like wired but tired and feeling like really dizzy. And Uranus does rule our personal electrical system, so that could have been why. It also rules electricity and things like that. So I was also experiencing some in technology. So I was experiencing some like technological problems when I was trying to record yesterday's video. So you could have been experiencing things the same way. But regardless, it is a big energetic shift. You likely felt it in some manner, but it is, when it's direct, it's a more fast moving energy. With it retrograde, especially in Taurus, we've been having the opportunity to rethink and rework and reconsider the things that need to be changed in the Taurus areas collectively, which would be financial things, resources, value system. But for you in particular, it's in your 11th house of friends, groups that you may belong to, the overall collective technology too, so it can rule. If you have a social media presence or something like that, it can rule over that. So there may have been some, kind of holding back in this area of your life. And with Uranus turning direct, number one, something unexpected might show up, because it is the planet of, you can expect the unexpected with it. But also, things just start moving forward and gaining traction where they were a little slower before. But it is possible that something new could have shown up. And, especially regarding it ruling your 8th house, it could be something that showed up, in regards to something going on over there. Just realizations about the friends or groups that you're hanging out with or something like that. But you should be getting some forward momentum and kind of, over the last however long, I can't remember how long Uranus has been here. It's been here since 2008. So, you've probably, since 2008, you've probably been experiencing a lot of shakeups, a lot of turbulence, a lot of unexpected things, unexpected friends coming and going since 2008. And now that this is turning direct and going to leave the sign, there might be a few final shakeups to get your friendship group and your tribe aligned, so to speak, with you. After Uranus leaves, there should be a little bit more stability in this area of your life, so that is really good. But there are, which we'll talk about soon, there are going to be a lot of interactions with Uranus this entire month. So next we're going to start talking about this stellium of planets in your 8th house. So first of all, this is a big deal in and of itself, because it's rare that there is a stellium of the personal planets in such a manner, because the Sun, Venus, and Mercury each take between 3 and 5 weeks to move through a sign. So they're usually pretty close, but they don't always fall within the same sign. Mars takes, on the other hand, about 2 months to go through each sign. So the fact that all 4 of these have been traveling together, first through Capricorn, then through Aquarius, is a pretty big deal. And then this month they're here with Pluto, adding even more power to this dynamic. So last month each of these planets took turns meeting up with the Sun, which is like planting these new seeds, right? Every time there's a conjunction between planets, it is the birth of a new cycle for those planets. And with the Sun imbuing this new energy into them, it's a beautiful new thought processes, new relationships, or new ways to engage in relationships, new passions and desires, like all sorts of new things were being birthed and seeded in your 7th house of relationships under Capricorn stability. And then as they moved in at the end of the month to your 8th house of intimacy and transformation, they underwent not only a transformation simply by being in the 8th house, but also by making this conjunction to Pluto. So your personal planets have had a lot of new beginnings, but then kind of weeding out, shining a light on, okay, in order for these new beginnings to take hold, What do we need to let go of and get clear so that there's actually somewhere where the new can emerge? Because a lot of times new things aren't able to birth if there's not a clear, fertile ground for it to come up through, right? So we've been working on that. And then these planets are still combust with the sun. They're still too close to the sun that you can't see them in the sky. So even though we've planted the new seeds, we've done this transformation work, we can't see anything yet, and we won't be able to see them until they move a little bit further away from the sun. So any seeds that were planted, we're not going to be able to start seeing the fruits of that for a little while longer. But these planets, as they're in here, not only are they going through a lot of transformation and shaking things up, because Aquarius likes to do things differently. So you like to do your transformational work, your shadow work, your intimacy, and working with taxes and shared resources, and like you have a different way of approaching maybe shared resources with an intimate partner or something like that. But so you've been doing a lot of work in this area this month so far. These personal planets are making a lot of important conversations this month. It started with Mercury yesterday. All these planets are going to take turns making this sextile to Chiron and Aries. And this is really beautiful. Chiron is the wounded healer, right? And it's in the sign of the I am. So it's where we've kept ourselves small for the sake of others, where we feel any shame or guilt about simply existing. Because again, Aries is the I am energy. But for you in particular, this is maybe where you've held yourself back or felt like you couldn't be fully seen or fully heard or anything like that in your 10th house of career. So you're getting a lot of opportunity here to, with these personal planets, making a sextile over here, you're getting a lot of opportunity to heal this wound. So this is, as these go through, this is changing your thought processes, or your communication style in regards to this, or your finances. Maybe there's a different financial opportunity for you where you are better treated or better seen or something like that, or partnerships or something like that in regards to your 10th house. Sextile with the sun is like your ego and just you being comfortable being in your own skin. That sextile is providing opportunities for that, because of this transformation work that you've been doing, and the inner knowing that you're developing, that you are valuable and worthy just as you are. And then Mars is your passions, your desire, what you're willing to fight for and stand up for. So this is providing healing opportunity as well. So then after that, all of these planets are going to make a square to Uranus and Taurus. So this is providing opportunities for unexpected events to show up for you in your house of friendships. So this could be deepening intimacy with friendships or with groups that you belong to. But same thing, it'll be all aspects of your life. It'll be your emotion, your mental, and communication, how you think about things, your finances, your relationships, your desires. So all of those things, as they square this Uranus in Taurus, there may be some unexpected events showing up, either things leaving or arriving, but they're there to challenge you, to get you on your highest and best path. So even though they may be felt as a little bit of challenge, a little bit of shakeup, and maybe you're tired of shakeups in this area of your life, they really are getting you to where you are meant to be in that area of your life with friendships and groups that you belong to and how you engage with the overall collective, how you bring yourself out into the world. It's helping you align with where you are meant to be with that. Then they're each going to move into Pisces, and they're going to take turns making conjunctions to this north node. So as they move into Pisces, your energy is going to start to split and be focused in two areas until they're all in Pisces. But so this will be shifting from your 8th house to your 9th house of higher belief systems. So you've gone through all this transformational work that may have an impact on your belief systems. 9th house is also long distance travel, foreign cultures, foreign people. This is higher education and learning as well as teaching. So there could be things showing up for you here as these personal planets move here, or just your focus being on these things. But as they make conjunctions to the North Node, it's really giving you an opportunity to align yourself where you're meant to go. And similar to Uranus, sometimes conjunctions with the North Node can bring unexpected things, and the North Node is new things. It's things that that are new to you, that might be outside of, a lot of times when something shows up, we can see it coming, but a lot of times with the North Node, especially with eclipse, when we get to eclipses, you can't quite see it coming. So as these all make a conjunction, number one, they could be bringing new things to you. Number two, Pisces is a sign of spirituality, right? And overall, collectively, with the North Node here, we're being asked to learn to let go and let God and trust a little bit more. So this is really working as these planets come into this, asking you to trust in all areas of life your belief systems, to trust your discernment, to, as well as, with this being higher education and things like that, maybe there's opportunities coming in where you want to learn more, and to trust that you're being guided to learn the things that you need to learn when you need to learn them. And maybe there's opportunities for teaching coming up as well. Or for travel or things like that. But as these personal planets interact with their North Node, it's kind of giving you an opportunity to say, okay, these seeds have been planted. I've been doing this transformation work in my 8th house along with Pluto. Now, am I really aligned? Is where I'm going with this stuff really aligned with who I am and aligned with my highest and best good? So that is the opportunity that is bringing to you, and just trusting that whatever is coming in is right on time. Then the other thing that these planets are going to be doing as they're here in Pisces moving through is making a trine over here to Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, in your house of self. So this is beautiful. This is the 9th house trines you. So the second half of, once everything moves in, so kind of the second half, but things start moving in as early as February 6th into Pisces. But as these planets start coming in and making a trine to you, that's going to bring you a lot of luck. A lot of people are going to be seeing you in a favorable light, things like that. And in Jupiter, you're feeling, even though Jupiter's retrograde, like you have a lot of luck and abundance overall right now, right? Like you're protected with Jupiter in your sign, with these personal planets trining you. They could be bringing you opportunities, or they're just going to be like when Mercury trines Jupiter, especially, like that's going to be a great time for conversations or for being heard or for mindset shifts or things like that. And with Jupiter retrograde, right, too, that can be old opportunities returning. So as these planets make a trine, maybe there's old opportunities that will show up in regards to, you know, what these planets represent, like your communication, or, you know, Mercury can also be talking about writing opportunities or things like that. There could be, you know, with Venus, money and finances and relationships and things. But so they're going to be making a trine, really supporting you, really bringing a lot of luck and abundance to all areas of your life. So February is going to be looking really good for you. Okay, so then on February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse. It's an annular solar eclipse happening at 28 degrees of Aquarius. So this is happening in your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, transformation. So new moons are about new beginnings, right? New seeds being planted, new goals, great time to set new goals. But with an eclipse happens when a new moon or full moon happens within about 16 degrees of one of the nodes of fate, right? And so this new moon is happening in conjunction with the North Node, still in Pisces, but it is a conjunction. So this is a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius at the ending degrees of Aquarius. So this is, and the North Node, as we talked about, is bringing new things as well, new things that are unexpected, that are that you don't see coming necessarily. So this could be great new opportunities for you in the 8th house. So maybe this could be that your partner gets a raise, or that you get a big tax return, or something regarding investments or lotto or something like that, right? Or it could just be that you're having something show up in regards to transformation. Like maybe you find, this can be the house of finding, if you've struggled with some things, maybe all of a sudden the right counselor or something like that comes into your existence and makes this massive impact on your life. Maybe there is maybe just your intimacy, not only with yourself, your willingness to see yourself wholly and completely and love all the pieces of yourself. And maybe that is this amazing transformation that you go through. But maybe you have the opportunity to be really vulnerable with others too, and your ability to hold space and be intimate with somebody grows to a level that you didn't realize could go to that level, something like that. With the moon ruling you, this could be, some big opportunity perhaps coming from Jupiter, you initiating some type of opportunity, or with the sun. Perhaps this is a financial opportunity or something like that, or some type of resources showing up for you or something along those lines. Or perhaps something might be showing up for you in your 9th house, an opportunity to teach or to take a course of study, or an opportunity to travel, something like that, that is so left field that you can't see it coming, those might be things that are showing up for you at the time of this solar eclipse. So I'd love for you to come back and comment with what may have shown up for you. And again, just like anything else, this largely depends if you have personal planets in these later degrees of Aquarius or early degrees of Pisces, then you'll be feeling this more strongly and it is more likely to manifest. Or if you have planets or points in the other fixed signs, so Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo, you'll be feeling this more. But if you don't have planets or points there, then this eclipse may not bring something like life-shattering or life-altering, right? You'll still feel it in the background. There's still plenty of opportunities for new things to show up, but it might not, like, change the trajectory of your life, which when eclipses hit hard and do bring things, sometimes they do change the trajectory of your life. So just something to consider. Okay, so then I went backwards really quick to February 13th, and we're going to talk about February 13th and February 20th. So on February 13th, Saturn enters Aries. So neither Neptune or Saturn will be retrograding back into Pisces at all this year. They are in Aries to stay, like they did last year. Last year, 2025, they went back and forth. This time, they are here to stay in Aries. So Neptune will be here for 14 years. Saturn will be here for about 2.5. So with this ingress of Saturn into Aries, you should be feeling like a weight lifted off of the 9th house area of your life, right? With Neptune and Aries having been here for the last 2.5 years, or Neptune and Saturn, that you could have been feeling some confusion with Neptune, some heaviness with Saturn, doing a lot of boundary work in your 9th house. So there could just be, with the heaviness of Saturn leaving there and Neptune having left, you could just be feeling a lot more clear in your 9th house, and like a weight has been lifted off of your belief system, off of your higher education, learning, teaching, like things in this area of your life might start to feel easier, is what I'm saying. And so with Saturn moving into your 10th house of career, this could be feeling like a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of a slowdown, things like that. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. So first I'll talk about the potential negative aspects, right? So this is combining both the energy itself moving in, but then February 20th, when these make an exact conjunction. So Neptune on its lower vibration can bring a lot of confusion and delusion, and this is where we can easily be deceived or see the world with rose-colored glasses and set ourselves up for disappointment, right? Saturn in its lower vibration feels very restrictive. It feels heavy. It feels like hard work. It feels like we're being told no. Things don't move as quickly as we want to, especially in the sign of Aries. Aries is a sign that wants to move fast, and Saturn wants to put on the brakes and move slow. So this can be very frustrating. And the combination of Saturn and Neptune especially can have can be a little depressive. So just keep that in mind, especially if you are somebody that kind of struggles with depression. Like you could be feeling it in that negative aspect, but it's good to be aware, because then you can be like, wait, I can choose to interact with this energy either on this more negative vibration, or I can choose to consciously work with it on a higher vibration. So on the higher vibration, this is really where we're being asked to show up and be a part of the change that society is making and the turning point of our collective evolution for the next thousands of years. This is where you're being asked to show up and ground in, right? Because we've had this divine grand trine that has been focused on Saturn and Aries, and it will continue to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and now in Aries, and it'll be continued to focus on these planets through 2029. So this is like a big seeding point, and at the 0 degrees point, at like I talked about at the beginning, this is the ultimate birthing point, right? This is brand new beginnings that haven't been seen before. This is the beginning of the zodiac. This is the beginning of 1,000-year cycles and the beginning of an entirely new you as well. And this is sitting, the eclipse that we just talked about is sitting in the middle of Saturn entering Aries on the 13th, and then this conjunction being exact on February 20th. What does Saturn bring in its highest vibration? Stability, long-term foundation. So whatever's being built right now is going to stay. It's going to stick. So we want to make sure that we're working with it consciously. And what is Neptune in its highest vibration? It's the dreamer. It's the visionary. It's the connection to spirit too, right? So this is really a chance to learn to connect with spirit, source, God, your higher self, the universe, whatever you want to call it, and really embody it with Saturn. Not just have it be up here, but learn to embody it. So this can be, grander scale or personal scale, like more psychic abilities or things like that, or just simply having better discernment, right? Like being able to tune into yourself. This is the big thing that we're being called to do collectively. Being able to tune into yourself and tune into your relationship with your higher power and learn to embody that and have the discernment of Saturn. But not only that, but to have the ability to dream the biggest dream possible. And then with Saturn here, Saturn is here to be able to look at that dream of like your biggest, wildest dream and be like, okay, some of this stuff is a little unreasonable, but this is what we can make happen. This is what we can bring in and solidify. Let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm reading this energy as is this is where you are going to make the biggest impact. Wherever this is landing in people's chart is kind of where they're going to be the leaders of this collective evolution. So for you, you're going to be a leader in your career. So whether that means that you're a leader literally in whatever your career is and stuff like that, or just that you're a leader in teaching us how to engage with work in a new way, right? A lot of us are sick of going to jobs that we hate, for people we don't necessarily like, right? Like engaging in soul-sucking careers just so we can make ends meet. Well, with this falling in your 10th house, perhaps you're going to be one of the leaders to show us a new way, to show us that we can turn our passions into abundance, that we can take the things that we love to do and create a career around that, and a career that's satisfying and that doesn't feel like work, right? You could be a leader in doing that for yourself and then showing others how to do it as well. So that is super, super exciting. But regardless, whatever is happening for you in your career with Saturn here, it is going to be something that is going to be staying, but you might feel some frustration. And I'll be doing more videos about Neptune as well as Saturn, through the signs, but you know, Aries wants to move fast. Saturn is kind of slowing things down. So you may be feeling a little bit of frustration there that the things that you're dreaming aren't happening as fast as you want. Then I'm not going to forward the calendar, but on February 25th, we will be having Mercury turning retrograde in your 9th house. So this can bring, typical Mercury retrograde things, miscommunication, travel plans going awry, just plans in general not going well. But it's a great time for revising and revisioning and reworking things that need reworked. But so for you, you might be feeling this slowdown and this revision in your 9th house of travel. So once Mercury turns direct, it might not be the best time to do any long distance travel. But it could be, if you're in a higher education, it could be a time to redo some of your studies or something like that. Or if you're in a teaching position, maybe rework some of your lesson plans or things like that. So that will be happening at the end of the month. And then on the 27th, Mercury will make a conjunction here to Venus. So this is, our finances and our relationships and our mindset and communication. So this could be a great day for communicating with your loved ones, new ideas about financial opportunities, things like that. So that is how the month ends. I hope that you've gotten a lot out of this February forecast. Keep coming back to it throughout the whole month long. And if, again, you've enjoyed this, please give me a like, a comment, a subscribe. Any way that you can interact with this does help my tiny channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you back here for one of my next videos.